Hello and welcome to the Big Arsenal Discussion. I'm your host Giles, and joining me on the sofa are Amanda, Robbie and special guest Mems. Right, let's discuss the Euros and Arsenal's players in the Euros. Not that many going this year, is it? I think it's Cech, Koscielny, Giroud, Rosicky, Jack, Ozil.
Well, it's quite a few.
That's 6. Not that many.
I don't want any of them to go.
Me neither, actually. Especially not Jack.
It's funny how like all the sort of English ones have fallen away, because I was at the St George's Park the other day watching England train, and it was only Jack Wilshere, the only Arsenal player there. And I was thinking to myself, you know, last year you would have had Gibbs there as well. You would have had Theo Walcott, Welbeck, Oxlade-Chamberlain. There was a lot of our players in England's team, and now it's just down to Jack. Yeah. And that's, you know, it's sad.
What's that as well? British core. You know,
British core is like, you know, the British core's just falling apart really. But
I've got a feeling Jack's going to have a blinding Euros though.
He will. He does
really
seem to
have
perform
a
for
feeling.
England. He really does.
like he'll come back injured, won't he?
Well, I'm glad that Jack's gone. I mean, I know there's been a lot of controversy. People saying, "Oh, he's only played, you know, one game in effect that he started this season, and how can he be going?" But for me, you look at the midfield for England, and he is that one player who can create. He's different to. There's nobody else who can do what Jack can do in that midfield. And if I think Jack Wilshere's got to go, and I think he might do well. He might benefit from the fact that he hasn't really played much this season, because
fresh player
he's going to be fresh. Like you guys said, hopefully he does really. I want him to do really well for England, and then come back fit, because a success. Jack Wilshere loves playing for England. He loves it to death. So if he goes there and he has a successful time playing for England, that can only benefit Arsenal.
Absolutely.
Only benefit Arsenal.
I'm really looking forward to the Euros as well, because you always find like unknown players that could potentially be linked to. Remember when Gilberto Silva had a great World Cup and we bought him. Johnny Jensen as well had so you never know.
That weren't the greatest buy though, was it?
But you never know. There might be an unknown sort of quantity playing for a country that no one even knows, and they might show in the Euros, and you know, potentially.
Do you think Giroud will have it? Because he's another one that's kind of plays for France. He seems to play quite well. I mean, he's been much maligned at Arsenal, but do you expect him to have a good Euro now that Benzema, they won't let him play because that whole blackmail, film. So it's him, and then you've got Griezmann, who's had a brilliant season at Atletico, and I think Big Mac Gignac. So Giroud's chances are, you know, quite much improved. Do you expect him to have a good Euros, Amanda?
I think he will actually. I think he will, and I think
home tournament.
Yeah, I think he will. Look, you know, if they play to his strengths, he's a decent striker. Decent.
You know, the funny thing about it, like lots of fans out there crying for certain players like Lacazette. Giroud's kept him out of the squad. You know, Giroud's not as bad as what everybody says. People make out like the guy's rubbish. He still scored over 20 goals this season. He did have that. He had that goal drought, but he's a decent player. He's not world class, we know, but I agree with Amanda. I can see him having a decent tournament.
I think with Giroud is that we've been spoilt in the past with all the strikers that we've had. You know what I mean? He's not as good as them, but he's not as bad as Schumacher and the Bentners. And
God, no.
He's a decent striker. He holds up the ball.
He's a good player.
He brings. I would like to see Giroud in a 4-4-2, you know what I mean? I think he plays
with who?
Well, Arsenal, Alexis Sanchez. But
not Walcott.
No. But, you know, I mean, I think he's a good striker. He'll certainly score goals if he plays with strength.
It's also his body language as well. I think Giroud lets him down.
Well, and he doesn't endear himself to the refs as well. He doesn't get the decisions what he should get.
But he doesn't endear himself sometimes to the fans with his body language. He gives his appearance that he's lazy, and you know.
Where do you think England will come, Giles?
I think they'll escape their group. I think they'll qualify from their group, and then I don't know what the permutations are, the scheduling is for in the knockout phase. But I'm not sure they'll make it to the semis, simply because I think France will be galvanised by the French. You know, I think the Germans, the world champion. We haven't even spoken about Ozil and that. You've got the Belgians who have the makings of a brilliant
golden generation.
But I don't think Mark Wilmot's is sort of getting the best out of them. Spanish will probably could well be in there with a sniff. Italians are hard to go against. So I don't know if England are going to make. If England make the semis, that'll be a good tournament. In my eyes.
What about you two?
Oh, go on, what mate?
I think England got a decent chance.
Of winning it.
Not of winning it.
Right.
I don't think winning it, but I think they could make the semis. Because I look at a lot of the other teams in the Euros. Yes, Belgium and teams like that, you know, they've got some great players, but I think England have got some good players this time around. The only thing that worries me with England is actually the defence. That's normally the area where they're pretty strong. I think at the moment, this England defence is not the greatest. But going forward with Sturridge, dare I say it, guys like Harry Kane, Vardy, you know, it's a very exciting Dele Alli, you know what I mean, Wilshere in behind him. It's a very exciting Ross Barkley, Sterling. That's an exciting team. I think England could do something. I worry about two things, as I said, the defence, the centre-backs, and also Roy Hodgson. Will Roy Hodgson tell those guys, will he unleash them? If he unleashes them, I think we could have a good tournament. If he doesn't...
Rosicky could be this final time we see him.
Yeah, wow. Playing for Czech Republic.
You know?
That'd be good if he can get some game time.
How good could he have been had he not been beset by injuries? Because we bought him in 2006, right? After the World Cup as well, Dortmund.
Yeah. We bought him off for the Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When was the day he got the injury that has ruined him? Do we know? Or was it a matter of so many?
Probably the day he turned up. That's what I said in the other video. You know what I mean? We need about 20 defenders.
Do you know when I speak to rival fans, they'll go, you blame your injuries all the time, blah, blah, every club has them. They can't have them like we do. I'm sure. I'm not saying that we must be one of the unluckiest clubs I've ever known. You talk about Petit and Vieira, they hardly played together because of injuries. One was fit, one wasn't suspended, then one wasn't. And when they were together, it was sublime. So it's tough with us, isn't it?
I mean,
Walcott's injuries, a year off. Van Persie, I mean, it's just...
It's got to be something wrong with the training methods.
There's got to be something.
how good could he have been? I mean, he was... Rosicky was brilliant, wasn't he?
He was a fantastic player. He had the long shots, you know, the distribution, the outside of the boot, his work rate, you know, he was direct, he was a great player, but it's just one of those things where it just didn't happen for him at Arsenal when everyone wanted him to. He was a fantastic player. He's a nice guy as well. We never heard anything bad about him. He didn't come out in the media or ever say anything bad. He could have been a fantastic player. But
they ran to him on the first goal, didn't they?
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's what our club is, the class side of it and the family spirit. And how he must have felt that every player went to him, you know?
Probably a guy behind him with a banner or something.
I did wonder where they're all running to.
Thanks for the memories.
Thanks for the memories, Rosicky, but get lost.
Even after the game, after the final whistle, they had the Rosicky 7 on, and
that's great.
You know, talking when he was talking, you know, he said that a lot of the young players looked up to people like him, and Arteta will come into Arteta in a minute. But you know, he was obviously a father figure in his non-playing role. Again, Arteta, you know, came at a time when we really were, you know, dysfunctional, and he gave up his, you know, what he was good at.
Took a pay cut as well.
Took a pay cut, for the benefit of the team. You know, changed his position and whatnot, and for a time, we nearly won the Champions League, like you said before. You know, made Ramsey look brilliant. You know.
Do you know what? Arteta, he's a player that I didn't really rate during his time at Arsenal, but recently the way he come out and spoke,
class.
You know, he was absolutely class. When that interview he gave on Arsenal.com, you know, it was tearful. He showed so much. I think he's going to go on and develop as a great coach. But as a player, I think, you know, we signed him as an attacking centre mid, almost a player that was going to replace Cesc Fabregas. But then we developed him into that deep. He turned it to Danielson. He didn't have the legs or anything like that. But it's just a shame. But as a person, he's a great guy. I'm sure he'll do well as a coach.
Shame.
You know what? I'm looking forward to seeing Özil as well though, in those Euros. He's one of the main men for Germany. You know, he's gonna. It'd be interesting to see if, like, you know, like his creativity, how he will get on with Muller in front of him. Will we see that Muller takes better advantage of his creativity than what?
Left for the country. Does he play that
I think
central
he
role?
kind of plays off the left, because I think Cruz.
I thought he was more on the left.
Yeah, Cruz is more of the sort of the creative hub. I think Cruz seems to be the one that makes things tick.
We need to keep Özil fit.
Yeah.
Keep him happy as well.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, I think.
Yeah. Be interesting to see, because the Germans have got problems in defence as well. They've got no fullbacks. No one's come to take Lahmann's place. But yeah, I think even though the assists have dried up for us, he's still the top created the most chances across the 5 top European leagues this season.
Which means that the assists have dried up because nobody's been on the end of it. Right, so that's what I'm saying. It'll be interesting to see, you know, with Muller. you know, there because Muller is top quality.
Funny kind of player though. He doesn't look like a footballer.
Doesn't look like a footballer.
Hasn't got any sort of demonstrative skill, but he gets into the right place at the right time.
He's so clinical.
Yeah.
What a player.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
Okay.
what would we give to have a player like that?
Who do you think's going to win it?
Turkey.
And that's who you want to win it.
Listen, you guys have got that guy who used to play for Arsenal, Ozzy. Can you pronounce it for me?
Ozzy can.
You can't even do
You can't even. You're Turkish. You can't pronounce it. Come on, man.
No, he's a good player and he's done really well.
And and a lot of people are talking about him coming back to the Premier.
Yeah.
Arsenal were looking at him
Yeah,
apparently.
you know what? He was impatient and he wanted a first team spot and he went to Turkey to develop himself and he's done really well for Besiktas. His values now is about 20 million euros.
Wow.
He's an attacking centre midfield player, great range of passing, he's really good.
Who's in for him?
I think West Ham are looking at him because he's played under Bilic before.
Yeah, Besiktas.
You know, he's a top player and I think we've got a sell-on clause as well there. So
Okay.
even if he signs, sells on.
Who's going to win it? No. Realistically, I'm not saying they won't, but
You
I love
know,
Turkey.
Turkey.
I love-
Would win it in 2004.
Exactly.
I love Turkish
No one thought
Spider-Man
Leicester.
kit, by the way.
Leicester would
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Put your
Turkish
money on
Spider-Man
Turkey.
kit is awesome, by the way. I like it.
It can't fit me because you know that's trying to fit.
Wouldn't it be amazing for our country though that if England
nice
won
for
it?
England. It's a nice
I mean,
atmosphere
none
in
of you
that
probably
country.
want.
Who do you think will win it?
Me? I think Germany. I do. I believe they're a very strong team, and my boy's playing for them. So
I'd love England to win it. I really would love to see
Heart
England
says
win it.
England, head says.
But my head says France. I think they're playing at home. They got so much quality in their team. Pogba, Griezmann,
Giroud.
you know, Giroud, you know, but they've got right throughout the whole team. That
Kante
is
as well
such a
now.
Kante. You know, what's the guy who plays for PSG who's also in midfield, possibly Matuidi, who's better than Kante.
Yeah.
I mean, they just got right throughout that team. It's top
Martial,
quality.
yeah.
of
That's
it.
Ripping in quality.
Martial, and they're playing at home.
It's a good call.
You know,
I say
I'll go
Germany.
France.
You say
I'll
France?
go France as well.
France?
To be honest with you. I've got a sneaky feeling for Belgium as well. They've got so much quality, and I think finally they're just going to click and come into gear. You know, they've got all those top players.
Yeah, De Bruyne seems to be the heartbeat now.
Yeah.
of that
Bruyne,
team.
Hazard,
Jay?
Lukaku, Fellaini.
Who do you think,
I think it's going to be a France-Germany final.
Okay.
Unless they meet before then, and I would say France.
Okay, so you three are France and I'm Germany. Let's see.
Come on, Giroud.
But we'd like England. So.
Oh
yeah.
God, I want England.
See Jack Wilshere out there. You know,
Harry
that'd be-
Kane hat trick.
No,
Would you celebrate a Harry Kane hat trick?
Well, you got him to sign your ball, didn't you?
I got to. You know what? The funny thing about that, right, is that so I met Harry Kane, Eric Dyer, Drinkwater, and I got them to sign those balls that I'm giving away. And I really wanted to hate on Harry Kane. I really wanted him to be a bastard, you know what I mean? And he's actually a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. I was like, no, you're supposed to be horrible, mate.
If Harry
You know,
Kane-
but he was a nice guy, and he's a top player.
If a
Let's face
Tottenham-
it.
If a Tottenham player scores for England, I cheer because
You've got
it's
to.
England.
Yeah, it's England.
Nothing
Yeah.
to do with
Listen,
it.
as I
But
said-
I would like Jack Wilshere to win Player of the Tournament or anything like that. You do,
Yeah,
you
of
feel
course,
like that.
yeah, because you get-
my Tottenham mates, if they call
You never
England
heard the end
Tottenham
of
now, so they call Tottenham
Yeah,
England.
I'll tell you what, I saw that
And-
Dele Alli training and he looked proper
Yeah.
sharp. He did look a player. But yeah, that's the only thing. The only thing about England doing well is that you'll never hear the end of
you
it.
just know, like West Ham when they won the World Cup.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what upsets me a bit because we had so many Arsenal players involved in that England squad, but through injury and lack of form, you know,
Does
it's
any of
just
us
Jack's the only last
Does
man
any of us
standing.
think England can win it?
I don't
I just
think
said
we'll win it.
I just said the best they can do is semi-final.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they
It's
can
nice
win
to
it.
get to the final because it's nice for the country as well. It's nice
Yeah,
as
it'd be
that
place
goes
to be
around.
buzzing if it does, but
Come on, England.
you know.
Not that
Will you, but you didn't answer. Will you be cheering if Harry Kane scores a hat trick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's England.
You?
Not
Harry-
certainly
Rob, let's get
You'd be
this
like,
right.
yeah.
It's not Harry Kane Tottenham, it's Harry Kane England.
Yeah,
So
no,
if
no,
you're
no,
cheering
listen.
for England-
When England were playing Scotland in 1996,
Gazza scored.
and Gazza did that thing over Colin Hendry and banged it in. We
we
like,
all went mad.
we like, were you? Go get in
I
there.
was like, go, Gaza.
Together.
All right, that's time to wrap it up. So that's our discussion about the Arsenal players and Euros and England in the Euros. Tell us what you think. Who you think is going to be the player of the tournament? Do you think an Arsenal player's got a chance to be playing the tournament? And who you think will win the Euros? Leave your comments in the box below, and thanks for watching the Big Arsenal discussion.
For all the best coverage of this year's Euros, get along to my brand new channel and subscribe right now. Subscribe to a man like Robbie.